Alrighty, yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy, Mr. DDG94 here, back with another reaction video. Today, we finna react to the most terrifying label bosses. Most terrifying. Number one got to be Diddy at this point. At this point in time, Diddy is number one. Diddy is number one by far. It ain't even up for debate no more. Diddy is probably the most terrifying label boss to ever have. Ain't no telling what this man might do to you. After him, I'd probably say Suge. Because Suge got gang ties. Then after Suge, I'd probably say Jay Prince. Jay Prince would probably get you. Jay Prince would probably pack you up in a heartbeat. Yeah, them the only ones I could think of. But anyways, though, without further ado, let's to it.
Who of the current CEOs of a music label can sit with a gun during an interview like Eazy did?
You put the dot on your target, then you blow the No joke.
Before creating Ruthless Records and the legendary band NWA, Eazy-E was a drug dealer in Compton. But after his cousin was killed, he realized that he needed to get off the streets and set his eyes on the music industry. So, with the money he earned from selling drugs, he co-founded Ruthless Records with Jerry Heller, after which the band NWA was created. But initially, Eazy didn't want to be a rapper. He just wanted to manage the process. However, when Ice Cube wrote Boys in the Hood for the HBO duo, and they refused, Dre forced Eazy to record this track, because Dre saw not only the CEO of the label in him, but also a very charismatic rapper. Dre turned out to be right. Eazy became a superstar after the first track. Later, the guys were offered contracts. Everyone signed except for Ice Cube. Later, Dre also decided to check his deal, with Suge Knight taking over and giving the contract to music producer Dick Griffey, who said that Dre was earning pennies. After that, Dre turned to Eazy to solve this problem. But time passed by, and nothing changed. Eventually, he gave Eazy a choice of either him or Jerry, and Eazy replied that he could not fire Jerry. After that, they went separate ways. Together with Suge, the DOC, and Dick Griffey, Dre created Death Row Records, where Dre looked for talent and Suge managed the process. However, there was another problem. Dre remained under contract with Ruthless Records. Dre set up a meeting with Eazy-E. However, he wasn't the one attending it. Suge Knight was.
Dre wasn't there.
Oh, Dre wasn't there at all?
Nah. Dre set it up, though.
He threatened him with the murder of his relatives and forced Eazy-E to release Dre from the contract.
You're gonna sign these, releasing Dre and DOC from Ruthless.
Suge's thugs did not put hands on Eazy-E, as was shown in the movie Straight Outta Compton, because he was backed by the Crips gang.
Did Eazy get beat up like the movie?
Nah, hell no. They didn't touch him.
Keefy D said that Eazy had all the Compton Crips behind him.
Of
and
course.
Suge wouldn't touch him.
Of course.
Jerry Heller talked Eazy-E out of killing Suge Knight.
I gotta kill this motherfucker tonight. No, you're not gonna do that.
But many years later, he admitted that he had regretted not letting him do it.
I should have let him kill him. Yeah. You know, I would have done the world a favor. He would have done it for sure.
But Eazy was a smart guy. Suge wasn't able to release Dre from his contract completely, as Eazy-E put a fake signature on it. Because of that, Dre had to pay him 20% off each record.
And he ended up getting 20% of everything that they put out for the next 6 years, and they couldn't do nothing about it. Anything Dre produced or made over there, yeah, he got paid for it.
BG Knockout told the story of how they met Suge Knight at the Billboard ceremony.
I see Suge kind of trying to press Eazy. So me and my brother jumped out, ran up there, like, what's happening? Suge was like, yeah, outside. We gonna see what's happening outside. So we went outside, everybody was strapped up. So we got outside, we like, Suge, what's happening? Like, he's like, man, I ain't tripping on that shit. Like, all right.
Dre didn't stay long in Death Row. At the same time, Eazy-E wanted to bring back NWA, firing Jerry Heller from the label. Some who were close to Eazy claimed he told them Heller was engaged in financial shenanigans. Unfortunately, the return of the legendary group never happened, because on March 26, 1995, Eric Wright died from AIDS-induced pneumonia.
And Eric was, if he walked between my legs, excuse my French, people probably think he was my penis.
Hey, yo.
Many people call Suge Knight the boogeyman of the hip-hop industry, as he always solved problems through violence. And if you think that the release of Dr. Dre's contract from Ruthless Records was the only case, you are mistaken. Even before Death Row Records, Suge Knight threatened people. In the beginning of the 90s, Suge created his own promotion company called Nightlife and hired a ghostwriter whose name was Mario Johnson. According to Suge, Mario wrote the song Ice Ice Baby for Vanilla Ice. First, Suge met him at a restaurant, had a nice chat with him, and that was it. 3 weeks later, Vanilla Ice walks into his hotel room and sees Suge Knight there with several other people with guns. Then, the two went out to chat on the balcony.
He had me look over the edge, show me how high I was up there.
You scared?
I needed to wear a diaper on that day.
So I signed the pieces of paper there, and it allowed him to have a few points on the record to the extreme, which turned out to be worth millions of dollars.
there is a myth that the rapper was allegedly hung by his ankles from a 15th floor balcony until he agreed to look at it from Suge's point of view. However, Vanilla himself said that this did not happen. According to his version, Suge behaved with dignity, but there were notes of threat and extortion in his words. Actually, Vanilla changed his story many times. Then, a situation occurred with Eazy-E, after which Suge Knight felt complete impunity for his actions and decided to show his power in every possible occasion he could. Back when Death Row Records was just beginning to take off, Dr. Dre asked a pair of aspiring rappers, Linwood and George Stanley, to come in for a recording session. For the two, it was a dream come true, at least until Suge Knight decided to stop by the studio. Linwood picked up the phone to talk, and this was the exact phone through which Suge contacted Death Row investor Michael Harry O. Harris, who was in prison at the time. So it was important for Suge not to miss a call from him because he could call at any time. Suge asked him to put down the phone. He snapped that the phone should not get him involved in his gangster shit. Knight grinned and pulled out a gun. He shot at the wall twice. Then he ordered the guys to strip down to their underwear and beat them half to death. To ensure the two were sufficiently terrified, he took both of their IDs so he could easily find them should they be stupid enough to contact the police. Shockingly, that's exactly what they did as soon as they were released, battered and bloody from the Death Row studios. So, what did Suge Knight do to defend himself in court when Linwood and George Stanley tried to sue him? Gave the prosecuting attorney's daughter a record deal. Yes, he bought off their own defense with the promise of a recording contract. Thankfully, the prosecutor, Larry Longo, was fired from the Los Angeles District Attorney's Office. Another incident that will give you goosebumps happened in 1995. Having quarreled with cigar swallower Knight over business, the manager of House of Pain in Cypress Hill, Happy Walters, mysteriously disappeared while withdrawing money from an ATM, leaving behind only a wallet. He was spotted 3 days later, staggering around the Long Beach area of Los Angeles, covered in burns that are believed to have been made by a cigar. His head was shaved. When Walters recovered enough of the police to question him, he refused to tell who his kidnappers were. But no sooner had his hair grown out than he fired a number of artists from his record label. If Suge had conflicts with everyone, then it's not surprising that it happened to his own artists. A great example of this is the beef he had with Snoop Dogg. When Pac died and Suge went to jail, Snoop Dogg realized that it was time to get out of Death Row. In addition, Snoop was hanging out with Diddy to end the war between the East and West Coast, which made Suge very angry. All of this led to Knight trying to kill him.
He wanted action when I was in the line, when I didn't have no help, when I didn't have no team, and when he could stack a team.
No Limit Records came to the rescue, and while Suge was serving his sentence, Snoop Dogg quietly signed a contract with him. And in an interview, Snoop stated that Suge Knight is the devil.
We're working against the devil, and through the grace of God, Master P.
After Knight got out of prison, he had a new target, Dr. Dre. Until 2015, he had been hunting for him for 28 years, and it was unclear for what reason. Many people think that it was just envy. After all, when the boss of Death Row Records was in prison, he watched Dre make history. So all this time, Suge was trying to get at Dre. The culmination of their conflict was the shooting of the film Straight Outta Compton, where Suge met with Terry Carter and Clay Sloan, after which the guys had a conflict. Suge got into a car and ran over them, which caused Terry Carter to die on the spot, and Clay Sloan miraculously escaping death and surviving. As Dre says, Terry was a good man who raised 12 foster children. Suge turned himself into the police the next day, saying that he had come to the shooting to meet with Dre.
My name is Jimmy Henchman of Czar Entertainment. Henchman is a name that deals with some kind of dark side. People have taken Henchman to mean different things.
50 Cent is the creator of G-Unit Records, and no matter how much 50 would like to leave the street, after he was shot 9 times, everything returned to how it was, when the Game hired a new manager and CEO of Czar Entertainment, James Roseman, better known as Jimmy Henchman. And Jimmy, in turn, did not like the manager of 50 Cent, Chris Lighty. At least, that's what G-Unit band member Tony Yayo says.
Yep. I'll tell you the poison, and that was Jimmy Henchman.
Do you think that was
Jimmy Henchman never liked Chris Lighty.
Oh.
He never liked Chris Lighty.
After the beef between the Game and 50 began, Jimmy became involved, whether he wanted to or not, especially since 50 also dissed him. One day, G-Unit members Tony Yayo and Lodi Mack noticed Jimmy Henchman's 14-year-old son going to visit his father at work, and the guys decided to have a few words with him. When the thugs asked him how old he was, and James said 14, Yayo responded, "I don't give a f how old you are. Fuck our entertainment." Then backhanded him across the face so that his head hit the wall, sources said. As a result, both got arrested. Mack was given 2 years in prison, and Tony only received 10 days of community service. The whole point is that Lodi took responsibility for harming the teenager.
On the phone, I heard Yates make the kid. Now Jimmy got life, go smack him again.
After being released from prison, Lodi Mack was killed. And this is considered revenge for Henchman's son. Prosecutors say that Jimmy ordered Lodi's murder in exchange for 2 kilograms of cocaine. In addition, Dave Lighty, the brother of 50's manager, was attacked with a razor. Tony Yayo's Bentley was shot at, and his mother's house was also shot at. 12 shots were fired, but that's not the end of it. Also, the G-Unit's bulletproof car was blown up. There were several attempts to kill 50 Cent and his party. As Tony recalls, when 50 Cent and Akon were shooting the I Still Kill video, they wanted to kill them.
But I guess they didn't know how to handle a weapon or something like that. It's in the paperwork. And the gun went off in the car. So as the gun went off in the car, I guess it jammed and They backed out of what they wanted to do.
50 Cent left a dead rat on his doorstep, following this up with mysterious calls to his home. However, Jimmy Henchman's conflicts in hip-hop were not only with 50 Cent, but also with Tupac and Suge Knight.
You gonna come shoot me, kill me. If you're not gonna kill me, stop shooting me. Don't come for me. Let's go come and get me.
Here, Tupac is talking to Jimmy Henchman because of the robbery and assassination attempt that took place in 1994 in New York at Quad Recording Studios. There was an argument between them over money, which led to Tupac calling him a bitch and telling him to go to hell. Jimmy felt disrespected and wanted to teach him a lesson, so to speak. As a result, it so happened that Pac was shot 5 times but survived. After that, Pac's close friend Big Stretch sent him a message from Jimmy. You don't want to go to war with him. You don't have your money right. It became clear to Pac that Stretch was one of the accomplices of the robbery, who switched to the enemy's side.
And he was like, Jimmy Henchman said, get your money right, then go to war. And, for me, I'm only like 14, 15 years old, but I'm looking at the situation like that's kind of odd right there. You're supposed to be Pac homie, but you bringing him a message from his enemies.
I just remember what you told me. You said don't go to war unless I got my money.
The ripple effects of what Jimmy did made everyone in the music industry take notice that if a guy like Tupac can get touched, so can anyone else. He had a conversation with Tupac telling him to stop telling everybody that he was involved, that Puff was involved, that Biggie was involved. Nobody came here to kill you that night. You're talking all this shit and you don't know what you're talking about. We came there to discipline you. One of the robbers, whose name is Dexter Isaac, confirmed that he took part in the robbery. In 1994, Jimmy Henchman hired me to rob Tupac Shakur at the Quad Studio, says Dexter. He gave me $2,500 plus all the jewelry I took, except for one ring which he wanted for himself. It was the biggest of the 2 diamond rings that we took. He said he wanted to put the stone in a new setting for his girlfriend at the time, Cynthia Reed. I still have as proof the chain that we took that night in the robbery. I want to apologize to his family for the mistake I did for that sucker. Jimmy also had beef with Suge Knight. At the 2005 MTV Video Music Awards party in Miami hosted by Kanye West, Suge was shot in the leg. As the photographer who was at that party recalls, Jimmy asked to take a certain photo, and I quote, Jimmy Henchman says, "Come with me, I want you to get this photograph." I just saw Suge Knight by the bar. I said, "Jimmy, I don't think it's a wise idea for you to go over there." He says, "Nah, it's a wise idea. Get your camera. When I give you the head nod, I want you to get this photo." I'm like, okay, so next thing I know, I follow him. And there's Suge Knight leaned up against the bar, and with his talented blow, he'd make a perfect circle of a cigar smoke. And I'm like, oh shit, what the hell? Next thing I know, I saw Suge inhale, and when he exhaled, he blew out a perfect circular ring of smoke right into Jimmy's face. Then Jimmy did one head nod to the left, and then looked at me and did one head nod to me. And I'm like, what am I shooting? Some guy with a musket just comes from behind Suge and boom, shoots him right there. A few years later, it became known who shot Suge. A drug dealer and colleague of Jimmy Henchman, whose name is Muhammad Stewart, is responsible for this. According to him, Jimmy gave him $10,000, personally handed him the gun. Muhammad also admitted that he was the one who committed the assassination attempt on Chris Lighty's brother. However, everything came to a sad end for Jimmy in 2010 when he was arrested on charges of cocaine trafficking, money laundering, and witness tampering. 2 years later, he was convicted in federal district court in Brooklyn of drug trafficking, obstruction of justice, firearms violations, and other financial crimes associated with his position as head of a multi-million-dollar transcontinental cocaine-selling organization.
God damn.
At trial, it was alleged that Henchman led the large-scale, bi-coastal narcotics trafficking organization that transported cocaine from Los Angeles, California, to the New York metropolitan area.
Yo, you think you would have beat
known as
me?
the Roseman organization, in turn, shipped cash proceeds from the narcotic sales back to Los Angeles using a variety of methods as part of its operation. Millions of dollars in cash and narcotics were sent through Federal Express and United Parcel Service, often covered in mustard to avoid discovery by detection dogs. In the indictment, prosecutors noted that Jimmy Henchman made over $11 million a year since 2007 through his drug trafficking scheme. On October 25th, 2013, Jimmy was sentenced to life imprisonment. And in 2018, he got 2 life sentences for the murder of Lodi Mack.
I want to apologize to the Massive for letting these sucker ass niggas catch me out there like that.
50 Cent was happy about that.
Yo, OG, Jimmy the Rat.
I'm glad that it was overturned. I'm happy. Hopefully that,
50 is probably also happy with what's happening with P. Diddy right now, since he also has a lot of criminal stories.
Oh, Lord.
Back in the 90s, he had a conflict with Tupac, which ended with the death of the rapper and many accusations towards Puff, including from 50 Cent. OG from Los Angeles TVT, who was arrested last year, says that Diddy offered $1 million for killing him.
You got to tell
Tupac
him
and
no.
Puff's beef began after the robbery organized by Jimmy Henchman, who had a good relationship with Diddy. That's why Pac also accused the CEO of Bad Boy Records.
I have proved things that I can say that will back up my claim, but this is not for the world to know about. You know what I mean? It's between me and him, and only he knows. So every time he say it didn't happen, that's the only thing that makes this become an issue to everybody.
After the robbery, Biggie's song "Who Shot Ya" was released.
Who shot ya? Separate the weak from the oxa. Leak hard to creek in Brooklyn streets.
And, according to Napoleon, a close friend of Pac and a member of the Outlaws, releasing Who Shot Ya was Puffy's response to Pac for blaming Bad Boy Records for the incident at Quad Recording Studios.
Even though it can take people lives, or people might lose lives, but I'm gonna get rich. Put it out.
Napoleon also said that at that time, there was a rumor that Puffy was ready to pay $10,000 to anyone who would steal the Death Row Records chain.
Puffy was saying we want to put the chain in in our video, and that's why the guys try to snatch the chain.
This task was successfully completed. One of Keefe D's friends went to the mall, where he met a rival gang. He got jumped, but soon help arrived and they beat them, after which they took the chain with the Death Row logo. Keefe D's nephew, Orlando Anderson, was present during that fight. Then, after Mike Tyson's fight, one of the participants in the brawl from Death Row Records saw Orlando and told Pac about it, who, without hesitation, went to deal with him and avenge his friend. In a few hours, Pac would be killed in a BMW. Diddy threatened members of making the band. One member of the show, Freddie P., claimed that the argument escalated to the point where Sean Combs threatened to buy his block and get him popped every time he stepped foot over there.
He was like, I'll buy every house on your block. Shut every light off on that. When you come out, every time you come out, that bitch get popped. And that silenced me.
Don Richard from the group Dandy Kane filed a lawsuit against them in September of this year. In the suit, Richard alleged Diddy groped, assaulted, and imprisoned her, and threatened her life when she tried to intervene in defense of Combs' then-girlfriend, Cassie. Also, she alleged that Puffy threatened Richard's life, telling her that he had the ability to make people disappear and could end people. The fact that Diddy beats women is non-news. A terrible video was posted this year where Diddy was beating up Cassie. He also beat his ex-wife, Kim Porter. One of Diddy's ex-bodyguards, Roger Bonds, recalled one incident in particular dating back to around 2005 when he picked up the then couple from a yacht excursion. Upon seeing them, however, he realized that Porter's nose had allegedly been broken. After which, Diddy had to ask for a plastic surgeon's help.
He's gonna fly in your doctors so that he can know he was controlling when it came to Kim. So he would fly in doctors. Anything that if anything was wrong with it, that it wouldn't get leaked out, he was able to control the situation.
Is it true that Diddy broke her nose? Bust her nose, man.
He could also bribe witnesses to avoid jail. In 1999, he, his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez, and his label's rapper Shine were involved in a shootout at a club in which 3 people were injured. The couple got away with it. Diddy managed to convince the jury that he was not carrying a weapon. But Shine, although he was acquitted of attempted murder, was convicted on charges of assault and possession of weapons and received 10 years in prison.
Those people were testifying, they were brought to Puff first, saying that what they saw against Shine, what they saw Shine do. The DA didn't even know those people existed.
It is worth noting that one of the victims of that day, Natanya Rubin, herself claims that Puff shot at her.
I watched them both fire their guns. I watched them. I got hit right here, in my nose, in between my eyes, which means I'm facing directly at you. Just like I'm looking at you, and I can tell you got on black shades. They kind of look like Cazelles and an Adidas shirt. That's exactly how I was looking at him. And I watched him shoot me.
After Diddy's arrest, Shine said that, yes, he forgave him, but that night and Puff's subsequent actions ruined his life.
I was defending him, and he turned around and called witnesses to testify against me, and he contributed. He pretty much sent me to prison. Do I take any joy or any satisfaction with what he is going through? Absolutely not. I am different than maybe other people.
Diddy now has more than 100 lawsuits in which he's accused of rape, physical abuse, sex trafficking, and racketeering. During the raids, 1,000 bottles of baby oil were recovered from Diddy. One of the alleged victims of Diddy shared why the accused of human trafficking kept baby oil in his house on an industrial scale. According to her, he added narcotic substances to the bottles. She admitted that the oil, which was laced with drugs, was poured over those whom Diddy chose. They were also given water, which also had something forbidden in it. Because of this, people found themselves almost unconscious. If you want to continue watching the Music Vibe channel, then I recommend you check out our documentary about whose lives Diddy destroyed. Thank you all for watching.
I'll pass on that one. But anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one, man. God damn. Well, like I said, man, Diddy is the worst of all the music label bosses. He has to be the worst. Surprisingly, they didn't put Jay Prince on here. Surprisingly, considering the fact of all the shenanigans that he does behind the scenes, everybody's so afraid of him. I thought that they would put his shit on display, but I guess not. But whatever. Anyway, so that's just gonna about do it for this one. I will see you all in the next video. Till then, peace out.